Hello students and welcome to my video. This is the video of class 7 subject science. In the previous video we had talked about the that means some of the autotrophic plants, that means the one who feed on the other organisms, just like we had read in the previous video about the insectivorous. We had seen how the Venus flytrap was trapping their prey, how the pitcher plant just closing their lid and they are not allowing the prey to go out. They are just taking that insect as a food. We had seen the example of sundew. In the saprophyte symbiotic, we had seen the mutual relationship between the fungus and the algae, that is called the lichen. So all these things we had seen in the previous video. In the today's video we are going to read about the nutrient replenishment in the soil. Now what does mean by this heading, nutrient replenishment in the soil? That means how the nutrient is just rotating in that soil. Just like if in one season if something is growing in that soil, so that means that nutrient is just transferred to that flower or to that plant, but in the next season how they are getting the nutrient again and again. So about these things we are going to read. So here, that means in this, basically in this part, just I'm telling you in short that nutrient are of two type. First thing is the major nutrient, second one is the minor nutrient. Major and minor. Now what is this major and minor? Major means the nutrient that is that means the demand of that nutrient is in very high amount, but the minor, they don't need a high amount, but they need in a very small quantity, but they need. So this is the major and the minor nutrient. So let's see what is written in your book. Plant absorb various nutrients from the soil along with water. That means along with the water, the plant absorb the nutrients. What is nutrients? Nutrients means, that means food. They need this nutrient to carry out their various life processes. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, calcium are the major nutrient. Now over here it is written the major nutrient: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium and manganese and calcium. Major nutrient means this one over here, that means the plant need in a high amount, in a high quantity, so they are called major nutrient. These are needed in large amount. Beside these nutrients, iron, copper, manganese and zinc are needed in small quantity. So this is you can say this is called the minor nutrient, and this is just needed in very small quantity, but it is needed. So when the soil does not have sufficient nutrient, the crop yield fails. So if they will not have these things, the major and the minor nutrient, at that time the crop will fail. So next point is written over here: the soil loses its nutrient because of. Why? The reason is given why the soil loses its nutrient. So here comes the first point, that is the soil erosion. Have you heard about the soil erosion? Soil erosion means the movement of soil from one place to the other by the external effect. That means by the flood or by anything, okay, by the that means climatic conditions. If the soil is moving from one place to other, that means the rupture of the upper part, and the upper part is containing the nutrients, so they all the nutrients are washed away. Second thing, continuous growth of a single type of a crop. Just like if you are cultivating maize or any vegetables, so if you continuously just grow that type of vegetable, then that field will lose their fertility. Because just like whenever we eat meat every day you are eating non-veg, So what happens, that means the day comes that we just fed up. Now we can't eat that delicious food also. So just like that also, that only the that means the plant is also doing same over here. That means is in every year, if we are doing the same crop, if we are just planting all these things, so they lose their, yeah, that means they lose their nutrient. So therefore nutrient must be added from time to time to maintain the fertility of the soil. Nutrients in the soil can be replenished by following any of the combination of more than one method. So some methods are giving over here. By these methods we can just that means that fertility can be regained again. First here written, adding manures and fertilizers. So what is the manures and what is the fertilizer? See, simply manure means gobar. That means what we called the cow dung. You all might have seen that the farmers just before the rain, they just put the that cow dung, the that means the dry cow dung into their soil, so that it will make fertile. And the fertilizers are the, we can say, one type of chemical. That means by chemically, by in a, that means in a laboratory it is prepared. That means if it is just rich in phosphorus or in zinc or copper, calcium, anything, that means whatever we want we can make, but that is prepared in a lab, so it is chemical process. Second thing, growing leguminous plant. This is a natural method. That means if you grow the leguminous plant, they are having the bacteria in the root nodules. So this is one method. Practicing crop rotation. Now what is crop rotation? So crop rotation is the method, that means if you rotate the crop, like just like in this season you are just growing something else and in the other season you are growing something else. So in the crop rotation, mainly in the second part, there is a growth of leguminous plant. So leguminous plant just catch the nitrogen from the atmosphere and fix the nitrogen in the soil. Adding manures and fertilizers. What is manure? Manure is decomposed matter of animal and plant waste. It is a decomposed matter of animal and plant waste. So what I have told you all in the here this part, so just it is same. It is rich in essential nutrient and humus. Cattle dung and slurry from a biogas plant are mostly used by farmer as manure. That means there is a place where they just in the whole year they will put the cow dung, and during that means before the rainy season they just take that one and just put in the field. So what is fertilizer? See, what I have told you all, it is a chemical thing. So fertilizer are chemical compound which is added to increase the fertility of soil. They are rich in particular nutrient like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. What I have told you all just before this one, that whatever we want, if we want that phosphorus must be higher, sodium must be higher, nitrogen must be higher, so whatever we want we can make, but it is chemically. Some chemical fertilizer are urea, superphosphate and potassium sulfate. So these all are the names. Farmers and gardeners add chemical fertilizer to their field and garden. So next part we are having here, growing leguminous plants. Now in the, we all know the leguminous, what is the specialty of the leguminous plant? They are having a mutual relationship. Nitrogen is most essential nutrient required by the plant, but nitrogen is freely available in the air. That means 78% of the nitrogen is present in the air, but nobody can use that in a direct form. If the plants are also there, plant also convert that into ammonia. So somebody is there in the intermediate part who is just converting it. Leguminous plants are grown to replenish nitrogen compound in the soil. Rhizobium bacteria, which can convert atmospheric nitrogen to soluble, form a symbiotic association with leguminous plant. Whatever we read in the previous thing, same thing is given. They live in the root of gram, moons, peas, beans and other leguminous and provides them with nitrogen. So they are present in the root nodules of the that plants. This proves very beneficial to the farmer. The farmer need not add any nitrogen fertilizer in the soil which leguminous plants are grown. Farmers grow these plants alternatively to other crops. This restores the nitrogen content in the soil which was used up by the earlier crops. So in the previous, that means in short I am telling, in the previous cultivation, in the previous crop, whatever the nutrient is taken up by the plant, that means if the plant is taking the nitrogen which is present in the soil, so they are using up. But if we are just providing here the, that means the leguminous plant, if we are growing the leguminous plant, so over that time again they are catching up the nitrogen from the atmosphere and fixing it in the soil. Now what is crop rotation? Let's see. The practice of growing different types of crop in succession on the same land, chiefly to preserve the production capacity of the soil, is called crop rotation. Growing same type of crop again and again deplete the same type of nutrient from the soil. Hence different type of crops should be grown to provide different nutrient in the soil. So one thing is written over here, that if we grow the same type of crop every year, so what happens, just like if I like to eat fish, so if I am having one canteen, if I go to that canteen every day, if I used to eat just fish, and the day will come that fish will be finished, the other food will be there but fish will be finished. So the when the other will come, the one the other want the fish, so they will not get that one. So just like in the plant also, actually if we plant the same type of crop, so they will eat the same thing. So every day if they will eat the same thing, that nutrient will be finished. So crop rotation is also one type of important thing that we can use for the replenishment of the soil. So that's it for today.